Hello, welcome to a very late edition of this video series that I do about comic books. I am a comic book creator, not a YouTuber, so forgive me for my inconsistent schedule and my inability to speak while looking at a camera. It is 11 o'clock on New Year's Eve. I live in Australia, so I get a little bit early. Um, Not going to go long because I've got to spend some time with family. I hope that you are as blessed as I am. So, I just wanted to talk about my plans for 2024, and I mean this in the broadest way possible. I'm not going to be talking about specific projects, I'm just going to be talking about what I think every comic book creator who gives a damn about the direct market or trying to make this thing that we do work could maybe do better and what I could do better. And as I said, this will be brief. Okay, first and foremost, obviously we got to have a commitment to quality. Recently, Brian Hibbs, in his Tilting at Windmills column, said he doesn't believe anybody goes out to make a mediocre comic. I know that not to be true. Like I just know for a fact, I've talked to my peers, they know full well when they're putting out a mid comic. They are very cognizant of it. I'm sure that they would somehow like to change it, but they very rarely pull the brakes. And I'm talking about creators who are known for putting out mid work, and I'm also talking about some creators who are known for putting out really high quality work. They know when they're coasting on their name. They know when something's not as good as it should be. I mean, you know, comic book creators are not the most self-aware people, but most of us can read. So I don't agree with him. I think that there's plenty of people putting out bad work knowingly, and I won't have anything to do with that. For myself, I've tried to maintain a very high level of quality. Things have slipped through in the past. Happens to the best. But 2024, its quality control is going to be high. Now, within that quality, I have infinite space for different styles, for uh, uh, creators who are at the beginning of their careers, the creators whose work is in decline. I have all the I have all the love in my heart for a ton of different types of comic art. But you either have to be virtuistic or swagged out. That's it. So objectively beautiful or style, right? That's what it is. So that's job one for all of us. Job two is going to be pushing the margins, pushing the edges of things, being edgy. I think that we have to offer a value proposition over other media, and we just currently aren't. The only reason that most people read comics in 2024 is muscle memory, or they're, for whatever reason, sequential art just makes more sense to their brain than other types of media. But we don't want just those people. I might be one, but we don't want just those people. We want people who also love video games, also love film, but choose comics as their entertainment option on any given evening. To do that, we're going to have to offer something, simply put. And I feel, yeah, high quality is the first step, but not being afraid is going to be step two. We can't be timid in this. That means no self censorship. That means you go for it. That means you don't check with Twitter before you write or you draw. That's it. Nobody's going to remember that bullshit. People might remember your work. Now, can some creators not hang? Yeah, some creators can't do edgy work. That's true. But hey, there's always going to be readers who actually don't want edgy work. And that is great that they have an option with the, for lack of a more charitable word, the bland creators. It would be great if we had an ecosystem that could feed every type of reader. However, I think a very strong majority are going to want not just challenging books, but books that make them feel cool, books that make them feel like they're doing something wrong. This is an advantage that manga has over every American comic currently in the DM. I'm trying to think of something that actually, yeah, I don't know of anything current that's willing to go to places. Um, you don't feel naughty reading an American comic book. You feel like a fucking square. And the final one is easier for me because I work in the creator owned sphere, but I think that even for those of you who are in that other space, this is just going to have to be what you adopt for 2024. Somehow, some way. It's all got to be self directed. We can't take marching orders from the people who, forgive me, have marched us to the edge of a cliff. We are going to have to trust our instincts and do great work without self censorship, as I said, and without literal censorship. Our ideas and our ability to execute them are the reasons we are hired. We need to take our power back and make it evident to anybody who might hire us for work for hire that, thank you, I am the expert here. You brought me on for a reason, and now allow me to do my job. And I think in the creator owned sphere, this applies in its own way, which is I'm not going to follow the market. I'm going to follow what I know people actually want because I want it and I am a reader. You're going to be wrong. Some of you want terrible things. Some of you are tasteless morons who are always going to fail because you are always going to be pursuing the thing that you love, which is great. However, what you love is so niche as to not represent any portion of the market. And listen, that might be me. That might be the monster at the end of this book reveal of this entire channel and my career broadly. It might just be the fact that what I love, what excites me, is a minority opinion. But we need some populism in comics right now. When we look at some of the success stories, we're not looking at the guy who resents the audience. We're not looking at the guy who thinks they're all stupid out there and that he knows better. I'm going to tell a quick story. I worked in marketing. We had to sell a terrible product. Truly, if I named it for you, you would go, oh shit. That sucks. And it was our job to market that product. Big account. And I struggled. I was asked to come up with some copy for it. I struggled mightily to find anything positive to say about this absolutely terrible fucking thing. This coworker of mine loved this terrible product, consumed this terrible product all the time, unironically. We thought it was a joke, was not a joke. He was very happy to have this account. And he had idea after idea because he was the consumer. We have to be the consumer of comics. We have to be the person that would want the thing that we're writing. And sadly, for many of us, that means that we have to access that part of ourselves that likes broad things, that isn't trying to be a snob, but is trying to enjoy a thing earnestly. It's hard after a certain age. I admit this. And snobbery certainly can creep up in me. I'm sure you see it on this channel. But we have to go with our big ideas, at least for a time. I think there's going to be plenty of room for those of us that manufacture names for ourselves, that have followings. There's going to be plenty of room to self-publish or kickstart ideas that are very niche and have limited saleability. But what we put out to the larger market has got to have at least a puncher's chance. I'm not telling anybody to bury their interests. Far from it. I'm just asking that you prioritize your interests that might buoy a market that is potentially going to drown otherwise. This is all advice I'm giving myself, by the way. This applies not equally to me, but especially to me. So that's my 2024. Those are the things that I'm going to make an effort to do better. And I hope you'll join me in those. I hope you see any sort of wisdom in them at all. I want to thank the 200 of you that watch this channel. Like I said, it's going to be a slow and hard fought battle to 1,000 subs, but we're going to get there together. I now have a deep sympathy and kinship with all the channels on YouTube that I see that not a fucking person is watching. When I see a channel that has 123 views in 2 weeks, I click watch because I am simpatico. I get it. I understand you. So I don't mind taking time. That's one thing that I'm good at. Patience. Thank you if you're early on this, and if you're 10 years down the line and you're the 1,001 subscriber, I appreciate you too. Let's enter 2024 with a bang.